Are you one of the thousands of gamers who hit the streets the other day in hopes to come home with an NES Classic Edition only to have your dreams dashed against the walls of GameStop, Best Buy, and the virtual walls of Amazon when you found out that they were out of stock, and then went on eBay later to find people selling them for thousands of dollars? Then maybe in your mind, if you are one of those folks, you were led to believe that Nintendo is somehow trying to artificially drive up demand for this machine. If you're not familiar with the NES Classic Edition, it's basically a set-top box, very much smaller than the original NES, with an HDMI out that allows you to play many of Nintendo's old-school best classics all in one singular machine. I actually thought it was weird when Nintendo came out with the fact that they were building this, because I'm like, who in the world's going to want this? And then when I really thought about it, I was like, well, we're talking about Nintendo fans, so that's who's going to want it. That's who's going to stand in line, which is insane to me, but it's cool, to get these machines. And I've heard many people across the internet saying it's Nintendo trying to drive up demand, and I don't think so. I think what we're actually dealing with here is Nintendo trying to gauge demand, because for whatever insane reason, they didn't take pre-orders. I think if they would have done that, they would have known this is how many million people want to have the machine. Now we know how to go out and manufacture it. I think if they were thinking like I did, that this machine has the potential to fail because you can play all of these games on most existing hardware, and if you can't, there's other ways to go and play these games without having to spend money on another machine that has to sit on your shelf or your desk and plug into another HDMI port. I think Nintendo was wisely erring on the side of caution, thinking that it's possible that people might not want to buy this system. And so we're going to do a limited run from a manufacturing perspective and just see what the market does. Well, now they've seen what the market does and they know there's a huge demand for it. So now we can go out and mass produce something that we know the market wants. And I think a lot of people in sales, in marketing, in manufacturing, and selling actual, products, not necessarily selling services or virtual products, but when you're selling an actual product, you run a risk of going and building too many of them and then nobody wants them, and then you have a bunch of sunk costs that you can't recoup. So I think from a business perspective, Nintendo was wise to do a limited run, but clearly they've angered the often angry gaming community. So personally, do not believe that it's Nintendo trying to manipulate anybody. I just simply believe it's Nintendo trying to gauge the market. Now they know the market, they'll go out and make a lot more, and eventually you'll get one and not have to go to eBay and spend $5,000 on it. But if you're spending $5,000 on a machine to have games that you probably already own or could get in a much cheaper fashion, I'd say there's probably bigger issues that we need to tackle other than Nintendo potentially, but not likely manipulating people. Hope you got a lot out of this. Thanks for subscribing, being a part of what we do here at Cult Classic Neo. Always remember that we love you out there, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.